Right, here we go then with part 10. We're going to put everything we've learnt into practice so far. I'm going to attempt to model a cop and robber scene. And there's an hell of a lot to get through here, so we'll try our best. We may have to skip a few parts or just show parts of the process. This may be a bit too much here, but we'll try our best to get through what we can. And I'll show you the techniques. So let's just fire up Epic Pen. There it is. Let's get our screencast keys on. Put Epic Pen there. Never know where to put it. And let's go. Right, so here we go. Cop and robber scene. So NT. Let's go into our image editor. Image. Open. Blender fundamentals. This is the basic sketch I've done for what we're going to be modelling. So we've got something to model to. What we can also do is let's just make sure we're in X-axis here. Alt to snap. Shift A. Image reference. Desktop. Blender fundamentals. Front. Let's move that up. It's our empty. Go to item. I think it was 2.5 yet. Move that up to the origin. Snap to another orthographic. Reference. Side. Move that up to 2.5. And then move that back a bit. To there. So you've got our reference images. Not a big fan of them personally, but I'm just showing you so you know how it works, kind of thing. You can have image planes to model to. So let's get straight to this. Let's name that cop. And let's start modelling this cop. So wireframe, yeah. I think what we'll do, we'll model half of this cop. And then mirror it. So let's go into see-through, edit mode. Move these vertices to there. We want that to be with 0, then vertices. It's right at the origin. We can mirror it across the X-axis there. So there's our X. And we can mirror it properly if it's nice and clean. So here we go. Let's grab this. Let's move this up to the torso. Edit. Let's move these vertices down. We're matching the torso here, is what we're doing. So we've got see-through on. We can see through to our planes, can't we? Let's move that up. Let's get the basic shape in there to start with. And if we turn these off a minute, what we want to do, because we're mirroring this, we don't really want to be touching the vertices in the middle section here. You don't want to touch them. And in that way, it'll mirror nicely. What we could do, if we go to, well, let's just leave it like that for now, but what we do need to do, we'll go into face mode. And we'll delete that, because we don't need the middle section. So let's go back into there and turn our planes on, just for now. Come out of we need to move this back a bit, don't we? This plane here. And you can see the front We'll grab this one. I think we'll move this. So there, then we can see the front and side properly. Right, so there's the basic shape. So let's go into edit mode. Let's grab loop cut. Let's start adding some loops. Boom, 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 boom. We've got some loop cuts in there now. We've got more geometry now to play with. So, very basic torso there. What we can do, if we go to Control A, all transforms, we've zeroed the transforms, we can now go into sculpt mode. Let's grab, that's our grab brush. Grab, F to resize. Let's just move that about a bit, go into see-through mode. Let's just move this about a bit. Down there. So we're just moving vertices around to match the torso at the moment. And if we go into this F, where's grab our smooth, put that intensity at about 0.25. You can just smooth out there, just so it's not as boxy. We're just creating a bit of a kind of like bevel, I guess. So it's not as boxy, not as linear. We're just tapping smooth there, this torso. G for grab. Looks like we want to move these down a bit. Try not to touch these vertices in the middle, as I say, because that's where we're going to mirror it. So some people hide them, which I may do in a bit. Just tap smooth there. It looks like if we're going to edit mode, see-through, vertex, we need to move these down, don't we? Move this up. Try and work cleanly. So that's our basic torso there. What we do now, we need the legs. So edit mode, see-through. Let's grab these vertices here, move these back a bit. Move these back. And these ones at the back here, move this to there. And try not to move them in the x-axis, these vertices on the inside. So we've got our basic torso there, now we need legs, don't we? So I'm thinking these faces here, what we'll do, we'll go to extrude, move this down, move that to there, rotate it a bit so it's not so much at an angle, move that up, extrude again, grab front two, extrude them out to try and get the foot shape, into vertex mode, move these down, move that to there, move that back a bit, so that's your basic foot. And then before you go to loop cut, let's add some more geometry in there. Obviously you need to match it from the front as well. So Let's just grab these verts. We can rotate that. Move that to there. Move foot out a bit. And then knock our two planes off into sculpt mode. And try and get a bit of roundness there. We can do that again by adjusting our brush size and just smoothing along here. It's a bit more round then, isn't it? More of a cylindrical form on the leg. Right, excuse me, I have a backache. Oh. Not easy sitting on a computer 10 hours. And hurt your back after many years. So yeah, as I say, this could take a while, these tutorials, but I guess you got to think about Arnie. What did he say? Stick around. That's what you need to do if you want to see. Is stick around. Right, so you're just tapping smooth now. Just to break up that hard edge. Let's bring that out a little bit. Just tap smooth there. It's going to see through mode. Our reference plane. So I'm not a massive fan of reference planes, but I'm just showing you this to show how it works. Save as. Part 10. Naughty there, never saved it for 12 minutes. But there you go. Right, so where was we? So we've got our torso and leg, basic structure. Let's turn that off. Turn that off. And let's bring these in a bit here. Let's go into edit mode and cut another loop in there. We've got a bit of a difference between the shoulder area and the arm. Let's go into face mode. Let's grab these two faces here. Let's turn our front plane back on. Let's extrude that out all the way to the edge of the sleeve and in the hand. And we can see that that's absolutely miles out. So what we can do is we can grab these vertices here and move them up. Grab these ones here, move them up. Then grab all of them, move them up. That's more of an arm shape, isn't it? Let's look in the side view. It looks like everything needs to come up a touch there. I think what we'll do here while we're at it, we'll add a little bit. That's why I put this sketch thing there. You just want a little bit of a bend in these legs. So when we rig it, the IK knows how to bend the legs properly. Let's put a touch of a bend in that leg. Let's move these vertices around. Let's add another one there. Just scale that a touch. Scale that a touch. Scale that. We've got our arm. Let's come out transparent to see where we are. Looks like we need, let's go into edit mode. We'll add a loop cut along there. Some more geometry in the body. Just by adding a loop cut. Looks like we need some more geometry there. And then what we can do now, we go into sculpt mode, hit G for grab. You can bring this arm down and up a bit to create a little bit of a shoulder effect, I guess. If we go into transparent mode, you can see you've drawn a little shoulder in there. So let's bring that out there. That out there, tap smooth. I think 0.25. So we're on the wrong one. So where are we? Where's our smooth brush? Somewhere is smooth. Oh yeah, we're on 0.3. G for grab. I think we took that out a bit too far there. Hide this empty here. We need some more geometry in there. So cut, 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 cut. We got more geometry there, so if we're going to sculpt mode now, grab F to resize. Just tapping smooth. Yeah. Just tapping smooth. So shift to smooth. Bring that up a touch. Tap smooth. Doesn't look great from that area. Top. So let's bring that in. Tap smooth. More of a sort of tapered arm. Tap smooth again. Tap smooth. Then we need a hand, don't we? I wish someone would give us a hand. Excuse the pun. No, I won't help you, I'm afraid. You're all on your own. That's how it is. Rely on yourself. Let's bring that out a bit to give a bit of a chest in there. Touch of a belly. Bring that down. Bring the bum out a bit. Go to inflate. Just tap inflate there. Just to give it a bit more. It's not as flat. So if we go into edit mode and cut a loop there and scale that. That could be like a sleeve, couldn't it? And if we grab this one and scale that, that could be like the end of a sleeve, a transition. So what we're going to do for the hand, well, let's Control S to start with. So we need a thumb. So what we could do, edit mode, face. Should we try these three? Or would these three be better? Or these? Let's add another loop cut there and there. I think what we'll do is we'll grab these here and extrude these out. Rotate that a bit there and bring that down. We're trying to mimic a thumb there. So we need a bit more geometry on there. So let's add some loop cuts. And here as well. So we'll create like a puppet hand, I think, for this. G. We'll create. So we haven't got time to do all three fingers. We'll do that on another tutorial. So I'm just tapping smooth again. There. I'm just bringing this out to create like a puppet hand. So kind of 3 fingers. So it's like 3 fingers connected together, kind of a puppet hand. He's going to be grabbing a gun. So let's just go to inflate. And just inflate around here. Control and inflate to deflate. That does the opposite. Tap smooth. G to grab again. Into see-through mode. Move this back. Tap smooth. That's a very basic hand. So let's just move that there. Bring this back there a touch. And there, tap smooth. And that, hopefully that should be okay for the hand. We'll see how we get on. Might need to be a touch bigger so he grips. There's a basic puppet style hand. So there's our leg, arm, hand, torso. So we need the head, don't we now? So let's see. How could we approach the head then? I think we'll go into edit mode, face. If we select all of these faces here, move them up around there. That's a see-through mode. You could add a loop around there, like that. Then another loop, which we could scale a touch. Just to give a bit of a transition. You could select these vertices just here. Just move them in a touch. Select these vertices. Move them there. And these ones, just move them back a bit. Just so you've got a bit of a transition from the body to head. Control S to save. And let's add some more loop cuts. Boom, 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 boom. There's our loop cuts. Let's go into sculpt mode, see-through mode. Let's just shape this head to match a bit better. So it looks like you haven't got to be perfect on when you're matching these image planes. As I say, I prefer to look on the left or another monitor and model on the right. But this gives beginners an idea of matching a model to an image, really. So let's turn that back on the front in see-through mode. Let's just shape this head there. Only a basic model really, but cartoony kind of cop. Tap smooth. So that's our very basic head, the character. Just bring that arm up a touch. Extend the hand a bit beyond the reference, the thumb. Move around. See-through mode. Let's just move the back out and just tap smooth there. In a little bit here. Just using our grab brush. Hide the planes. bring that in a touch there. What we could do, what we need to do, is we need to just grab these and match it there. We don't really, as I say, we don't really want to touch these inner vertices. Let's do it in edit mode, and we'll go sorry, try and grab these vertices here, bring them out, and these vertices there, bring that out. Just bring that up there into sculpt mode. F to resize, just tap smooth, bring them up. See through. Let's bring that, tap that. And just move that around there. See through again. Bring that back and down. And then we need to think about the eye, don't we? So if we go to edit mode, face, it's round about there, isn't it, the eye? So we could scale that up a touch, and there, extrude it inwards into vertex mode, just move this around there, add a loop cut there, then we could go to add mesh sphere, scale this sphere, move it up, scale it a bit more, move it back, just into that hole there, going to see through. And let's rotate that to -90. Then that'll be easier to map a material onto then. So it's not matching it 100% from the side. That doesn't matter. Somewhere around about there, I guess. Sculpt mode. Let's just move this down here. Move this around a bit. And in edit mode, we'll add a couple of loops there. That one will scale. And if we add another one in there, just scale that a bit. Maybe another one as well. Scale that. And then go into sculpt mode. Let's just move this around so he's got a little bit of a brow there. Move this. And we may add a subdivision modifier, I'm not sure yet. We might just smooth it out. Let's just leave it like that for now. Basic eye. I think we'll paint the mouth in with a texture. Let's go to right click, shade smooth. Let's just analyse how we're looking. That's the basic head, torso and arm. And we've stuck to quads as much as we can. So it animates and deforms well. Let's just hide the planes now and just work off our reference there for the time being. So we've got a basic cop there. So what we need to do now, we need to mirror this across to create the full character. So let's do that. So what we need to do then is let's just hide let's name that eye. Let's just wet me whistle. There you go, Molly. Hide the eye. Get rid of this epic pen down here. Never know where to put that. And I think what we'll do, I'll say, add modifier, generate, mirror modifier. And like I said, try not to touch the middle. So that kind of thing happens. So what you can do is you want to make sure the vertices are merged. You can test that by going into edit mode, selecting a vertex. You'll see that sometimes they don't merge like you think they're gonna. If you just knock this up here, keep just scrolling along on the merge, and they'll merge then. You always seem to get some clean up afterwards. So what you can do to clean up, come out of transparent mode, apply the mirror modifier, and go into sculpt mode. Shrink your F to shrink, and then just smooth again. Smooth out here. Enable X there, and you're doing it on both sides. So we've applied our mirror modifier. As I say, inevitably, you always get some clean up with the mirror modifier. So if we look at our image plane, there, you can see a bit too big, isn't it? Really, that. So let's grab our plane and move that to the centre a bit. Let's go back to our cop. We've got our X mirror thing there. Let's just move it a bit. And because it's not a symmetrical image on my part, bang on symmetrical when I sort of sketched it out, you're not going to get it perfect. Like that arm's a bit higher, so that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's not smack on the reference, as long as it looks along the lines of what you're aiming for, you're alright. So we're just moving this about now. And just tapping smooth to get a better transition where we mirrored it. Let's just move them shoulders up there a bit. Move that, so look from the bottom. Let's move that out so he's got a bit of a sort of nose and mouth area, muzzle kind of thing. Smooth that out there. Going to see-through mode. Smooth this and smooth it. Move and smooth. What you want to be aiming for. Move this hand down. Tap smooth there. And there. Tapping smooth just around there. Let's make the legs a bit thicker. The top, let's look at our cop here. Left. Let's make a transition. But let's just turn our planes on. Oh yeah, he's not right on the floor, is he there? I moved the plane up, but I never thought about the feet, so we'll move that down in a bit. No big deal. Let's go into edit mode. Let's put the vertex see-through. Let's move that down there. And let's add a couple of loop cuts. So he's got more of a foot. And in sculpt mode, we'll just move this just a little bit more rounded. Then we'll also add a couple of loops in there as well. Back into sculpt mode. Move this out a bit. So it's a lot of moving, smoothing and adding loops, really, just to polish things up a bit. So keep moving these, moving things around just to make it look more neater. Have a bit of a back there, bring that in a bit, butt out a little bit, smooth. A little bit too square, isn't it there? So let's bring that out, smooth again. Let's bring the shoulders out a bit. And I'm going to spend about 5 minutes now just tidying this character up a bit, and I'll be back and we'll model the helmet next. So just bear with me while I tidy this character up a little bit, and I'll explain what I've done. Right, so I just spent a couple of minutes tidying up, really, that was all. Just added a bit of an extrusion to there, so he looks like he's got a bit of a collar. Bit more smoothing out. Then just added a couple of loops around here, so it looks like there's a transition between the torso and the head. So that's where we are at the moment. So, nice clean geometry. And I've moved him down as well, and also the planes, just so he's onto the floor. In sculpt mode, let's just move this foot there, so he's more on the floor. Doesn't got to be perfect, but you want your character grounded. Parented the eye to the body, so when the body moves, the eye will move. You don't need to view the relationship lines at the minute. We'll have to move the character actually. Control A, all transforms. We have to move him right to the origin. It must have moved back a bit when we was that's no bother at the moment. So we've got our basic character there. So what else do we need now? Well, he needs a hat. So let's go to add mesh cube. Let's move this up. I don't think we'll bother with the mirror for this. Let's just scale this down, move that to there. Let's start making this hat. So, edit mode. Let's cut some loops in. Cut a few loops in. And if we go to see through, look at our reference images. Let's just start, let's go into X. We've got a mirror. Let's just start moving these vertices around to match the hat. And we're already on 42 minutes. We haven't even started modelling the car yet, or anything to do with the robber. So, it says it'd be the most an hour and a half for these tutorials, but could be a few hours, in all honesty, this one. Move that up. Move that there. So we're just moving vertices around at the moment. To try and match the hat. I think that's some hair. What texture that? We'll just paint that on. Some of the stuff will have to be painted on due to the time scale, I think. So moving vertices around. Basic hat shape. Let's hide these planes, they're annoying me. Let's go into Control A, all transforms. Sculpt mode. Let's just smooth out. Smooth and move. Let's bring that down. I think that, just put that on for a minute, apply. Yep, that needs to come down. Bring that there. Down there. Old PC plod. There he is. Tap smooth. And then you want it to feel as if, go to Control A, all transforms to, actually, object set origin to geometry. And then Control A, all transforms to deltas, and you can move it from there then. So if we go forward slash, and go into face mode, let's select all these faces here. Extrude, actually, right click, extrude along normal. And scale it in. So we're adding a bit of thickness there. Let's add a cut around there, another cut around there. Let's grab all these faces again. And let's extrude them up. And scale that in so it's not coming out of the helmet. Go into object mode, right click, shade smooth. Sculpt mode. Let's just move that so it's more round. And that could be our basic. Control S to save. Forward slash to come out of solo mode. Let's put our two planes back on and go to see-through mode. and just shape this helmet here. Hasn't got to match 100%. Is the head a bit bigger there, maybe? If you go to Alt Q and swap meshes, and you hit Alt Q, you're in sculpt mode, Alt Q for the helmet, Alt Q for the body. Let's just move this head up. Got a big head, ossifer. Here's my arm nuts. So we're just moving his head up. Alt Q. Move the helmet down. Out a bit there. And that's quite close really, isn't it? So let's bring this out here. So there's our basic helmet. Should that come out like that? I know it's not in the reference, but I don't know, I just like the idea of that coming out a bit more like that. Feels like a bit of a better silhouette. Let's go into edit mode. We'll just add another cut along there. Possibly just scale that touch. Just break up the silhouette. I like that. There's a basic hat. I have to do a bit of clean up on that. Sculpt mode. Bit more roundness on the head there. Smooth that. Bring that out a bit. Bring that out. Just checking the roundness now on things. Going into different views, just moving things about a bit. Seems a bit flat. There. Let's bring that in. Tap smooth. You see there. Grab these two and just bring them in a bit. So there you go, there's the basic, very basic body. It looks like I extruded somewhere, messed up a bit there, you know, extruded that wrong, the looks of it. So I'll have to clean that up, I think. Unless we leave it like that so it's not as symmetrical maybe. You haven't got to go mad. Just basic collar thing. I think we'll probably paint them on. We've got the basic belt, haven't we, there? Let's just bring them legs out here a bit. Legs out. Let's bring the knee out a bit so we got a bit of a bend when we set the IK up. We'll bend properly. Touch of a bend in the leg. I think we'll probably paint the mouth in. Let's just go into edit mode and just add a few more loops around there. Maybe a loop there. A loop there. And that should deform alright, that should. So there's our basic cop. If we go to generate mirror and choose that, there you've got the two eyes there. We'll do a bit of clean up round here, which I'll do, and I'll jump back in a bit. But I think the next thing we need to do is start modelling this car next. So what we'll do, we'll hide our cop for now, and we'll go to add mesh cube. Cop car. Let's start modelling this car. So basic police car then now. So let's go for the edit mode. Let's cut a loop in there. Go to face mode. Select this face. Extrude it out. This face. Extrude it out. And we're going off the side image to start with. So let's just move some vertices around. It's see-through mode, so you grab them both. Let's do this basic cop car. Let's cut in a loop there for the wheel arch. Cut in a loop there. Same here at the back. Cut a loop in. We need a loop for the... Before we do that, let's move this into position. Move this down. Move this over a bit. Just like this needs to come. All of these need to come down a bit. Then let's look at the front. We've got what we should have done there is, can we go to, if we go to 180, or was it 90, sorry? 90. Well, I haven't got the... I need to be across the x-axis. Why across the x-axis? I haven't got it switched on, that's why. It does help, doesn't it? Thought I was. We're at the front here now. We're modelling the front. So, let's bring that in a bit there. The back, yep, the sign. Let's come out of see-through mode for a minute. So we've got, let's grab our face there. Let's right click, extrude along normals and bring that in. Not as much as that though. Bring that back. Let's make sure in local scale that. Scale that in. Let's grab that edge. Move it up a bit. Move that back. Let's cut another loop in there, which will move forward a little bit. That can be our basic windscreen there. Now at the side, looks like we've just got a basic one door really. Can't go over the top, haven't got time to. Let's grab that face. Grab that face. Extrude faces. Do you want to extrude along the normal? Bring that in. Scale. 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 Grab that edge. Grab that edge, bring that up a bit. Bring that edge in. Yeah. That edge in. Add a couple of edge loops in there. We'll bring back out. Select loop. Bring that back out. I think that is in a bit much, so I'll bring that there. So could be a 3-door car, couldn't it? Keep it simple. So let's get some wheel arches in there, I think. Let's go. Couple of loop cuts into see-through mode. Let's grab that and that and bring them up. Around there. Let's add another one and another one. And bring them up. Let's scale them a bit. Let's do the same for there. Grab them too, bring them up. Scale them a bit. Boot looks like it needs to be a bit bigger. Let's bring that out and that down. Let's grab this. Bring that there and that down. This one to there. There's the arches. We maybe add a few more cuts there. Just to get a little bit more roundness. And then up. And that up. Let's look at it from the front. I'm out to see through mode. Control save. Let's cut a few more loops in here. Spinning around, see what we got. Looks like we need some kind of bumper there. Let's put a loop in there. Let's go to face mode there. right click, extrude along normal, bring that out, say there, let's create a bit of a bumper. If we cut a loop in there, grab in faces, extrude along normal, bring that out, you've got another bumper for the back. Grab that vertex, bring it down a bit. And then maybe bring these three down a bit. See through, bring them down. Let's bring that down like that. There. Should we bring that down like that? I think we need to put a few edge loops in here. Just to get a bit more geometry. We could have the two doors, couldn't we really? Put that to there side. That's the basic shape of the car. Basic shape. See-through mode, bring that down a touch. See-through mode, bring that there. And then there as well. Just so it's more even along there. And then we need not so happy with that wheel arch, looks a bit maybe a bit too high. Bring that arch down a bit. It's not as high. So we'll have to clean that up a bit. Maybe nudge these edges in a bit. So it's not quite as sharp. We'll have to bring this bumper down a bit. Bring that down. Bring that down. Maybe bring that up a touch. Maybe bring all these up a touch. If that feels a bit better. Probably should have been a separate object really, that bumper, but let's just go with it for now. So let's go to add mesh cylinder. -90. Scale. 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 Bring that out. Scale it a touch. Shift D. Shift D and hold Y. Bring it to there. And we need a back window. So edit mode 1, 2, 3, 4. Extrude along normals. Scale. Scale. Bring that up. Add a loop cut. Bring that out. Here's the back window. So we need to select these two tyres. Scale them a bit. And let's grab these faces. That's why I was trying to make them even. I was going to bring this out a bit, just to add a bit of interest. Kind of a mudguard kind of thing. I think we'll cut a loop in. Yeah. And then in see-through mode, edit mode, vertex. Looking at the reference, I think it should be a bit bigger there. So we'll just have to move that tyre over there. Control S to save. I'm thinking now we've brought them mud flaps out, would we also bring this bottom edge out? Just to make it a bit different. Feels better, I think. That bumper's a little bit funky, but we'll go with it for now. Maybe move this in a touch. Move that in a touch. That in. Just create a bit of roundness. And do the same here. Just bring that in a little bit. So there's a basic shape of the car. I do feel that that's a bit too high. Yeah, so bring that down a bit. Not 100% happy with these arches, but I'll probably do a bit of clean up on that and jump back and explain what I've done. Down, up a bit. So what else do we need then? Well, on this tyre, no point doing it twice. If we grab that, go into edit mode, face, inset face, and then maybe inset the face again. Take that in. Got a loop in there, and a loop there. And if we select loops, edge loop, just bring that in a bit. It's not quite as flat. You could add a few bolts, but just leave it at that for now. Shift and Alt Y to bring that to there. And that back looks a little bit small compared to the front. Maybe we can nudge that back a bit there. Maybe bring this down a little bit. Bring that down. And if we select that and go to generate mirror, select the car, generate mirror, select the car. We've got our 4 tyres. So what we need to do now is definitely, before we go any further, I feel as if this should be coming down a touch. There. So let's go to, what do we need now? We just try this down here a bit, so we can see the bumper. Something like that. Now if we cut a loop in there and then move that down like that, that might work. Guess we can move that in a bit there. Move that in. Move that. out. If we select all those, maybe that one and that one, and bring it there. It's not as linear then, is it? A little bit of a roundness to the bumper. Let's do the same there, bring that in there, just back a bit there. Just bring that down a touch. Let's go into Control S to save. Now we need to go to Add Mesh Cylinder. Scale that. Rotate it 90. Move that. Scale it. Move that to there. Move that up. Move it back. Somewhere around there. Move it out. Go into edit mode. Cut a loop. Go into face mode. Inset it. Just a touch. Scale it. Move it out a bit there. Go to select loops, edge loops. Move that back a touch. That can be the basic light. Generate mirror. There's your other light. Looks like we got a bit of a grill there. So goes along normal. Too far. Bring that back. Finally this. Extrude along normal. Bring it back. Scale it a bit because it looks a bit big. There to the other one. Let's just scale that. Not the same size, but doesn't matter, it's a bit of contrast, isn't it? That needs to come forward a bit, I think. There's a basic grill. You want add mesh cube. Let's scale this cube here. Let's move it to there. Let's go to generate bevel. It's not as linear. Let's just move that. Scale that. Somewhere there will do. And then go to generate mirror. Put it to the other side. So there's the basic car. I'm going to go in there and just do a bit of clean up for 5 minutes, and I'll come back and tell you what I've done to clean this car up. Right, so I've just added a little bit of clean up on this, nothing special. Just added a few more loops to various places. And we'll revisit this car again in a bit. I'm just adding a few loops. If you do add a subdivision, modifier, it'll basically smooth out better. I've added some more loops. Just gone into sculpt mode and just with a very 0.1 strength, just smoothing around these arches with a 0.1 strength, and just around there, just smoothing it a touch. Just there, just tapping smooth. Now I've just added a cube there with a bevel modifier. You can go to add, generate bevel for the indicators. Duplicated that to the back. Added a grill like before, just for extrusion. Same with the top, just duplicated and scaled the cubes for the lights. So that's the basic police car, which we're going to revisit in a bit. So let's grab that light, that tyre, that indicator, light. And then last of all, grab the cop car, go to Control P, keep transform. And when we move the police car, everything will move with it. If we shift, click the eye, we can hide all that. So let's bring cop back up. And been naughty in that name, cop hat. Control P. So everything's to there. So let's just revisit our cop and see what we got next. We've got a basic belt. Let's go to add mesh cube. Let's just scale this cube. This is going to be the belt buckle. Go to generate bevel. It's beveled a bit. That can be the belt buckle. Just scale that. Basic belt buckle there. Move that back. Go to edit mode. Cut a loop in. See through. Grab all them verts. Just bring that there. Bring that back into object mode. Bring the whole thing back. There's a basic belt buckle. Looks like he's got a tie. So we could Shift D, that belt buckle, bring that up into edit mode, bring this, make sure you go to see through, so you got the other side, bring that down, scale that, and then we grab that edge, sorry, face, bring that down, scale, bring that down, that can be the basic tie. Just go into object mode, rotate that, touch there, leave that there for now, tweak that again in a bit. There's the basic tie, control S to save. There's his tie. He's got a walkie-talkie. So let's go to the cop car. Let's shift E that light. Shift I there. Where was that light again? Cube 5. Let's go to walkie-talkie. And they should all be in collections, so very naughty yet again. Mirror. Let's apply the mirror modifier. We can use, if we go to edit mode, we can use, this is the walkie-talkie. This can be our walkie-talkie. It's done that because we got the opposite. We've got another one, haven't we? So what we need to do is we need to go to edit mode, face, select all in, P. That separates the selection there. You've got two different objects now. In theory. Let's apply the bevel modifier. Edit mode. See through. P. Selection. If that should separate it from there. We've obviously missed an edge. Right, that's the thing with 3D. If you miss something, it's just, that's going to be separate, isn't it? So yeah, I'm rushing a bit now. Let's forget that one. Let's go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry, come out of see-through mode, delete on the numpad, you get back to central, Scale, Move. Edit mode. Cut a loop in there, cut a loop there, cut a loop there, cut a loop there. Grab that face, extrude that. There's our simple walkie-talkie. Next, he's got a gun. Add mesh cube. Scale this cube. Delete on your numpad to zoom in. Let's go to edit mode. Let's cut a loop there. Let's go to grab that face, extrude that. See-through mode, select all them vertices there. Let's move this back to there, and this to there, this back there a bit, this back there, this down a touch. Control S to save, cut a loop, cut a few loops in, cut a loop there. Face, extrude out a bit for the barrel. Then we want cut a loop in there, cut a loop in there, grab that face there, extrude that out. Grab that face there, extrude that. Move that up a bit. Move that back so it's quite pretty much in that location. Move this face down. Let's actually move that face to there. Move that one back a bit. Let's cut that into there like that. And then we can delete these two faces, go into edge mode, select that and that, M to merge, M2, M to merge, that, M to merge, M to merge. You've connected them now. Then we can select cutting that there, Select another face there. Extrude that down with the trigger. Move that back. Very basic gun. What about if we had a bevel modifier to that? Generate bevel. Let's bevel the edges a bit. Scale that. There's a very basic gun. Edit. See through. Vertex. Something like that. And then maybe grab another face there and just extrude that up. Scale it in a bit. Extrude that up a bit. Feel as if it should be something like that. There's a basic gun, very basic. So there's his gun. That's another thing done. He's got handcuffs. So add mesh. Torus. Yeah, that could work, couldn't it? Torus. Scale that. Actually, let's delete that. Add mesh. Torus. Let's just have a look at these segments here. Add mesh. Torus. Radius. There you go, something like yeah, something like that'll do. Then scale that. Move that. Rotate it. Scale it a bit so it's not 100% round. Shift D to duplicate. I think it's a bit big, both of these. Let's scale that. Move that down to there. Then we could Shift D that. Scale. Bring that up. Scale. Rotate. Bring that down to there. Generate an array. Make the count 3. Rotate that around so it's not as linear looking. Like something like that. There's some basic cuffs. So we're not too far off. But what we need to do now is start thinking about the robber. So let's hide that hat, cop hat. Could we use that cop hat maybe? Oh, let's Shift D that hat. Shift D, enter. All that. Robber hat. Robber hat. Hide the cop hat. Go into sculpt mode. G. Let's see if we can create a robber hat instead. Let's knock our smooth back up to not enough. Smooth. 0.3 G. I'll create this basic robber hat. It looks just a black hat, isn't it, really? Something like that. Got the eyes, we can paint in the mouth. So what do we need next? We need a mask for this robber. So let's go to Control S to save. Let's go to Add, Mesh, Plane. Let's rotate this plane -90. Let's move this plane up, scale it again there, move it up, go into see-through mode, and let's go to edit mode and cut a few loops in. Let's go into, let's grab our move, hit X. Let's try and get this shape of this mask. Try and get the shape, line, shape and form. When you're looking at reference, what you want to think about. And if we cut in, then we never cut in a loop on the other side, so it's not mirrored there. No biggie though. Because of the rushing, that's all. Trying to fit it into 2 hours. I said an hour and a half, didn't I? It'll be 2 hours this lecture, I'm afraid. Let's go into sculpt mode and just move that around a bit. He's got a bit of a mask. Let's smooth that a touch. Then we want to move that back, come out of see-through mode. It's going to be something like that. Right, sorry, Blender went a bit funny then. So there's our mask. Let's go into sculpt and just move this around a bit. Then we need to see his eyes, don't we? So I have to go into edit mode, face. Let's select these 4, hit delete, faces. Control A, all transforms. Sculpt mode, let's just move this mask around again. Just moving these vertices. So you just want to see his eyes there. And then there's not really any depth to this, is there? You need a bit of depth. So let's go to object mode, generate, solidify. We've added a bit of depth now to that. When we go back to sculpt mode, let's just tap smooth. Move this mask back. So there's our basic mask, which will move into place in a bit. There's our basic mask. We can paint the mouth in. Just tap smooth. Do a bit of polish on that, so that can be the robber. We can duplicate. There, we've got our thing. What else are we missing there? Are we missing our money bag? So, Control S to save. Object, add mesh cube. Just move that to there. Let's go to generate subdivision surface. Apply that. Generate subdivision surface again. Control A, all transforms. Let's go into sculpt mode. Let's just move this around. So I'm not really a fan of starting off straight away with a subdivision. I prefer to build it up, but we're against the clock here. We're on 1 hour and 3/4. We've still got to add all the materials and do some cleanup. So what I'll be doing in a minute is I'll be cleaning all this scene up and then coming back to you. Let's get this money bag. Let's go to edit mode. Let's put that up to, let's leave it at, let's put it to 2. And we'll go to face. Select these faces. Scale them. Extrude them. Extrude them again. And scale. Move it up a bit. Scale. Move that down. See through to grab them at the back. Bring that down. Scale. 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 Basic money bag. Sculpt mode. Tap smooth. This can be our simple money bag here. It's a bit big. Could do with a bag of money like that. Set origin. Origin to geometry. Scale. Bring that down. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a money bag like that, wouldn't it? Full of notes, preferably. So there's our money bag. So what I'm going to do now is we've only got, I can't go more than 2 hours. I'm going to do some clean up now. I'll be back to tell you what I've done on the clean up. Then we'll look into at least starting to add the materials. We'll probably finish the materials in the next lesson. We'll start getting them in now. So I'll be back in a minute and I'll explain what I've done. So I'm just going to do a bit of scene clean up because it's getting messy now with all these all these objects, and there's a lot of stuff appearing in the scene. So I'll clean that up. I'll be back in a sec, guys. Right, so I'm back then. So what have I done? Well, the scene was getting really quite messy. If you look in the outliner. Right, this is the outliner. And it was just jammed full of stuff there. So I've got my epic pen. So what I've done, put everything into a collection here. If you click the box there for the cop, everything relating to the cop, you can move because everything's parented to the cop. Just by selecting everything, then the cop last, Control P, keep transform. So everything's parented to the cop. And that's all in a collection. You just right click, new collection, right click again, you can have it as a different colour. Just delete that. So everything to do with the cop is in that collection. click the car. Everything to do with the car is in that collection. Click the robber. Everything to do with the robber is in that collection. Let me just grab that eye. Control P, leap transform. So when you move the robber, everything's moving. You need to apply that. We can do that after, before rigging. Oh yeah, nice and clean. That's what you want to be aiming for. A nice clean outliner. So it's all in there. So you've got that. There's everything there. Miscellaneous is just our planes and camera. We don't need that. I've scaled the car up a bit. It was quite small. So that's like more of a correct scale. And before the next lesson, I'll add a few other things as well. Like I'll add some mirrors here. I'll explain what I've done. But what we need to do now, just to finish off, because we're nearly on 2 hours, is we need to start adding materials now. Because this lesson was really modelling and materials. So let's at least start adding some materials. So let's, before we do it for the cop, then you'll know how to apply it to the others. So here's our cop. Let's just do one thing at a time. Keep it clean. There's our cop. Oh, that's his parented there. There's the cop. So let's hide our epic pen for a minute. Let's grab this up. Let's go to material. I like to start cleanly. I click new. We'll call that cop. Material. And let's look at these colours we've got. So he's got a blue top. So we haven't added a subdivision, have we? I don't think we need to. We'll see. But anyway, there's our cop material. So let's have that as a base colour. Let's have it as a like blue. More of a darkish blue. We can tweak these. Let's just get it in there for now. So cop material. But let's call that cop torso. So there's the torso. Let's now click this plus button and go to new. And we'll call that cop skin. Let's select the faces. This cop. Hold shift. Select more. Make sure you've got all the faces you want. So it's basically up to that inset really of the collar. We've selected too many already there. Come out of see-through mode so we can see properly. Excuse the pun. Don't want that. Looks about right. Let's go to cop skin. Let's have sort of a, I'm going to tweak all this a bit. The sign. Make sure you click a sign there. That's going to be the skin for now. What we also need is to select the hand. the sign. And the other side, the sign. So there's our basic skin. His trousers are a black colour, so let's click plus, new, go to cop, trousers, edit mode, see through. You can select your lasso there, which makes it easier. Just being lazy because nearly out of time here. But there's the trousers. Let's make that a blackish colour and assign that. There's the trousers. Don't like this blue. It's more purple, isn't it? Let's make this a darker blue, maybe. There. And we need to click plus again. New. Cop. Shoes. Edit mode. Select box. Select all those faces. We've selected all the faces there. It can be awkward when you've got quite a few polys. You've got all in. Let's go to shoes, sign, and make it a kind of brownish colour. You can tweak that. But there's the basic cop colours. We want to get our other items now. Eye, gun, tie, walkie talkie. Let's go to new. Tie material. We're running out of time now. I have to do that on clean up the naming. There's the tie. Walkie talkie, new. Just go to a black colour. Belt, new. Let's go to a silver kind of colour. We can assign material 2 to that. Material 2. We'll rename it. Let's just go to material 1 on that for now. With the hat, let's go to material 1. If you come out of wireframe, let's go to the eye. Back into wireframe, let's go to new. We'll name that in a bit. We want the white. We also want to go plus. We want to go into edit mode. We want to select these here. New. Like that. Black. Go to assign. There's the eye. let's put the roughness as 0 so it's shiny. Right click, shade smooth. There's the basic eyes. And what I'll do now, I'll just bring you back for the last couple of minutes after doing a bit more clean up and adding materials. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, so I'm back on. I've assigned some more materials, done a little bit of a clean up again. As we say, nice clean scene. So if you click cop, there's our cop. We've assigned the different materials. As you're seeing down here. Increase the roughness on the eye so it's more shiny, or decreased it should I say. You look roughness 0. There's our cop. We click that collection. You've then got our car. We're going to do some clean up on this, smooth this out and a bit of tweaking before the next lesson. There's our basic car. And if we click robber, there's our robber. So we've got car, the cop and the robber. So that's what we've modelled over the last few hours, and in the next lesson we'll do a bit more clean up, then we'll start the rigging process. We'll have to add a mouth or something in there, but that gives you an idea of the modelling and materials for this character. And this blue, for example, would do you being a bit darker, I think. You can always tweak stuff like that as you go. There's the cop. And there's our other two. So that's the start of our scene. We'll crack on in the next lesson. So there you go guys, that was part 10. That was the cop and robber and the money bag and the car. And working nice and cleanly. Plenty of techniques, there's our reference. There's quite a bit of information to take in there. Lot more to do. We get in there, that was part 10. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace. See you guys.